Ooh, you only have one copy of your manuscript? That is asking for trouble. We do not want to do that in this industry because we have seen time and time again, I personally have experienced this, the outcome of only saving one copy of your manuscript. So many times, for so many people, myself included, we have seen corrupted files, broken technology, issues where it just didn't save properly, and you've lost potentially chunks of your manuscript to the entire manuscript. We're even seeing people who are only saving in one location that is a free to use cloud thing that has terms of service that they didn't follow, and they're getting locked out of their accounts right now. Only having one copy of your manuscript is literally asking for it to be taken away from you. Please don't do this. So when it comes to your manuscript, we want to make sure we're protecting it, and not just protecting it, but like protecting it. So I've done videos before where I break down, and I talk about this in live streams a lot, how you should be saving your content in 3 places minimum. That is wherever you're writing it, that's on like a jump drive, an external device, and that is some kind of cloud-based thing where you're emailing it to yourself or you're saving it in the cloud, like something, so that you have 3 places to access it. So even if a file gets corrupted or a device breaks and you can't access things, or heaven forbid, some kind of horrible thing happens and like your house burns down, you still have access to your manuscript so that you don't lose all that work. And this is especially important if you're a slow writer. If you're somebody who writes really fast like me, it's still a devastating blow to lose a chunk or all of your manuscript, but you can recreate that faster than somebody who takes like a year to write a book. So making sure that you have this in multiple locations is incredibly important. So you want to make sure that you are saving it wherever you're writing it. That's important. Save it on your computer, but also save it by putting it on an external jump drive or an external hard drive, something that is physical, tangible, that you can move around. I even recommend having it saved on multiple jump drives, one that you keep in your house and one that you keep not in your house. Because if something happens, if your house catches on fire, or if there is a flood, or like if there's some kind of emergency and you have to evacuate and you can't get back in, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So having some kind of physical thing that you can just take away and keep somewhere else, especially if being an author is like your business. Like if you're making a lot of money on this, if this is the thing that's sustaining you, you're going to want to be very proactive in protecting it. Now, if you've been following along, you know I'm a professional photographer, have been for many, many years, well before I became an author. One of the things that we were very strongly educated on, especially when we have like client work that we're doing, high ticket client work, is to make sure we have things on an external hard drive that we keep outside of the house and or in like a fireproof container, a flood-proof container, so that if something happens, we can still get to that container, that safe, that bank vault type thing, so that we can have access to those things. You don't necessarily have to go that extreme for your novel, but like you could. If you take your job seriously, you very well could. I don't have a special box at a bank that I keep a jump drive in and that I like travel every time I update my manuscript. I don't do that. But I make sure that I have access to it in different ways. So for something like this, I can keep it in my email. I email it to myself every single time and I can go back and check those emails. Or I keep it, I should say, and I keep it in like a cloud-based thing so I can access it even if I need to be on a different device, even if I'm traveling. If something happens, I still have it via the cloud, via my email, via those digital things that I can gain access to, but I don't just rely on one. So you want to make sure that you have multiple locations that you are saving this in and multiple physical locations that you can actually move should you need to. You can also, if you really want to get into this, set up a special email from your website to just email manuscripts to yourself. Nothing else goes there. You can name it manuscript@yourwebsite.com. And you can just send those emails there so that you always have them in one place without them being cluttered, without them being messy, without them being hard to find in a sea of other emails that you're getting. Just have a dedicated email that you're sending those things to. Have specific cloud places that you're saving these to. Text it to yourself. I don't care what you do. Just have multiple locations where you're saving this, because only having one is asking for trouble. I keep telling this story because it's really important, but on multiple occasions, I have had corrupted files where an entire day's work is just gone. Or like half my manuscript, poof, is just gone. I've had those corruptions within my files, within the tools and technology that I'm using. I've had jump drives break. Back when I was a photographer, I had an external hard drive where I had some really important photos that I didn't back up on a second hard drive. And I had to pay thousands, literal thousands of dollars to Best Buy to go recover that external hard drive. Was it a total ripoff? Yes, it was. Did I end up actually needing most of those files? Like, nobody was coming back to me getting it because they were smart enough to keep the things that they needed. But like, I needed it in case I needed it. And it was a lot of money to have that recovered. Do you know how much money it would be to have a little jump drive with some manuscripts recovered on it? Like, I had a jump drive where I had all of my original manuscripts. It's what I wrote on when I was new. So I have like tons and tons and tons of information on this jump drive. And about a year ago, it just stopped working, like wouldn't work at all. I for sure thought it was gone. I couldn't get it to work, wasn't working. I plugged it in like 2 weeks ago and thank the good Lord it magically worked. I got most of the things transferred. There were still some corrupted files on it, but I got most of the things transferred. So I have all of my original works, but like, I wasn't going to pay thousands of dollars to get those old manuscripts or those old versions of my manuscripts back because I wasn't smart enough to back it up back in the day. But it would have been really expensive, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want you to have to do that either. So save things in multiple locations every single time, whether you're adding 1 sentence or 7 chapters. I want you to be saving it in multiple locations so that you have access to it. Don't ask for trouble. Don't set yourself up for heartbreak and heartache and all of the time and effort you then have to spend finding those things. Be smart about it. And every single time you save those files, have it as an extension that you can easily document. I usually use the dates. I'll say, right now I'm using parentheses, start here on and the next date. So I know where I'm picking up. I know when the last time I did that particular installment of my book. I know all that information because I'm putting it in the file name. And then I have one that is just like my normal manuscript that I'm working from. And if something happens and it's corrupted, I can go back to the last non-corrupted version of those files. And you can do that as well. But don't fall into the trap thinking your computer will protect it, that Google Docs will protect it, that Scrivener will protect it. These things are not going to protect it. These things could glitch at any time. Your external hard drive, your jump drive, your whatever could glitch at any time. So could your computer. So could your hands when you dropped your technology into water and destroy it. Don't rely on fate to make things work in your favor. It's not going to. You always have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And when it happens, you are now safe and protected because you took those steps. Follow along for more tips on how you can thrive inside of the author space, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress and overwhelm and time commitment dealing with your business so you can live your best life while also living out your author dreams. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.